Hello, we are back at the Thrive DTSP podcast studio for another episode of our community conversations. And today we are with Lisa Suprenand with Ronald McDonald House, Tampa Bay. And I am delighted that you guys are here at Thrive. We've been huge fans of your organization for years and years. We have supported your houses here locally in St. Pete. And now we get to have your parent organization here and your whole team. And it is a delight. So welcome. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Thrive.
Thank you. We are so excited too. Excited about all the support you've given us over the years, and we love it here.
Oh, yay! Well, one of the things I know that really sets you guys apart is how much your staff is actually in the community, not just within your specific organization, but really connecting with other people, raising awareness for what you do and what your mission is. What a special treat. That's how I actually even first came upon your organization. I'd sort of vaguely heard of it, but like a lot of people, wasn't quite sure what it was that you did. So what exactly does Ronald McDonald House do?
Great question, Brooke. So we provide services to families with ill or injured children. What does that mean? So a lot of what we do is lodging and food and wraparound support. So we have 5 Ronald McDonald Houses in Tampa Bay. So imagine if your child is ill or injured and you need to get to the best hospital, the best doctor, and the best care wherever you are. It might be local, it might be hours away, states, countries away. You have to travel for that care. And we want to ensure that every child has the doctor they need. So when you travel for that care, what's next? Where are you going to stay? Where are you going to eat? Do you have siblings in tow? All of these other things come up along with your child's care, of course. And so we remove the burden by taking all of those things off the family's plate. So they can come stay at the Ronald McDonald House, one of our 5, depending on where their physician is in Tampa Bay. And they walk into the doors, they're greeted by our staff. There's other families there going through similar issues with their child. They have a community of support. And when they walk back from the hospital at the end of the day, they don't have to worry about what they're going to eat because, people in the community like Thrive come and cook for our families. So they have that hot home-cooked meal ready for them.
Oh, that's so amazing. Yeah. I really had no idea till we went there. And again, props to your staff, because when you walk in, even as a volunteer to cook a meal for the families, part of the experience is you get a whole tour of the facility. And things I just really never thought of, like you mentioned siblings in tow. If they're school-age kids in tow, where do they go to school? How do they get those? How do they keep their education going if their sibling is in the hospital for 6 months or a year? And how you and your services help facilitate getting them into local schools, getting them with other kids so that they're still having that experience of being a child as well.
Their life really stops.
Yeah.
When I first started, I will recall a family forever who there were 4 boys. They were all playing in the backyard of one of the houses. Come to find out, one of them had been diagnosed with neuroblastoma, which is any parent's family's worst fear. And the brothers, were supposed to go to camp. Were supposed to be playing sports. But it was a summertime, and so they were out of school. And so, of course, they all came to support their baby brother. And they were living at the Ronald McDonald House. And then what does that look like, right? Parents can't drive 4 hours each way to get to the hospital. So they're staying with us. But they still need, they're kids. They still need a place to play. So they're in our backyard throwing the football, hanging out with Dad. My mom was at the hospital. They would trade. They'd go see brother. All of these things happened. And there were highs and lows for that family. Ultimately, that story is not as great as we would love for it to turn out, for little brother. But it makes us so happy to know that we could be there supporting that family along the way and that their family could be together. Because think about if they had been 4 hours away and had to make that drive, right? Would those brothers would have been by their bedside every day supporting their younger brother? Would they have gotten to experience that, be together, and share those final moments together? Yeah. So we have many happy stories at Ronald McDonald House, and there were a lot of happy journeys for that family. More of them turned out happy than sad. But it is a family story that, we share a lot. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And it's interesting that especially here in Tampa Bay, you're probably very busy because we are really lucky to have such phenomenal pediatric healthcare here. You and I were talking earlier about there are physicians that are known all around the world, not just Florida or the country, but all around the world who will take hard cases, pediatric oncologists that are highly specialized in their fields. We're really lucky to have all those services right here.
Yeah.
But how difficult for someone who, like you said, may live in a rural community or lives 4 hours away, and those same people should have access to those amazing services, even if they don't live in close proximity.
Yeah, one of our physicians, he does have such a high success rate. So people do come from all over the country. And part of the success rate is ensuring that mom is here 4 weeks before the child is born. And so think about that. Think about what it would take for your family to stop your life. And 4 weeks before the baby's born, that's when you're usually having, your baby showers and decorating the nursery. And so people are coming from all over the country to see this physician. So mamas are pregnant, walking around the house, waiting and worrying, right? But again, they have the place for the support. And what I love about this particular group of people who stay with us is there's quite a few that come from across the country. So we often have maybe 20 or so families at a time.
Really?
And the other families are in different stages of that journey. And so they're there to support that family when they walk in. So they've already connected on social media because they know the diagnosis really far in advance. So when that family walks through the doors scared and unsure, those other families who maybe have already had their child or maybe about to be discharged are there to catch them, to support them and say, we got you. We know what this feels like. We're going to walk with you along this journey. And that's really special. And we're just so lucky, like you said, in Tampa Bay to have these specialty physicians. And we want to ensure some of these families are just from right in our backyard, coming from the greater Tampa Bay area, and others are coming from really far away. And either way, children across the globe deserve to receive the best care they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, I not to put too fine of a point on it, but I think it's something that is so critical for people to understand about this is what is the cost to the families?
Zero
cost.
Yeah, you have to understand that if someone's coming, let's say they're going to stay with us for even a month. Think about what a hotel in downtown St. Pete would cost you
and
nightly.
3 meals a day. 3 meals a day. And yeah. So absolutely free, zero cost to families. And so how does this get paid for? You talked about meals being served and volunteers who come in who make dinner. So tell me a little bit about what that looks like in the back end to make that machine go for all 5 houses here.
We are so lucky. I mean, my predecessor, it's kind of our legacy. We say this is really the community's house because 70% of our funding comes from individuals and corporations in this Tampa Bay community. We are a local 501c3, and that's through events, that's through direct giving, that's through, volunteerism groups coming in and bringing, food in to cook for our families. And the other 30% also comes from Tampa Bay individuals. It just comes through facilitated giving through McDonald's, which we can talk about in a minute. So, but it is really the community's house. So I think it's a great investment. The community is here investing in these kids and their families, ensuring successful outcomes so that family can be as close as they can to their child when they need it most.
It is. I mean, it needs to go hand in hand, right? If you're going to have world-class medical services for children, you have to have world-class services to support their families, too. So I love that story, too. And when, as I was talking, when you have a volunteer opportunity and your staff does such a great job of showing you the rooms and showing you the living facilities, which are great, by the way, just like a really comfortable, homey hotel or inn, that you also explain the funding model, because I think so many people misunderstand and think that this is a pet project of the Golden Arches and Ronald McDonald's just supports this out of the kindness of their heart. And that's not exactly the way that funding works. It is local communities, nonprofits, individuals, people. But tell us what the Ronald McDonald component is and how they do support.
Yeah, so McDonald's is our mission partner, forever our mission partner. They helped start us, by selling funds, selling a Shamrock Shake and giving those funds to the first Ronald McDonald House to open.
Really? Wait, hold on. Was the proceeds from the Shamrock Shake?
Yeah, so a little history lesson. So in 19...
Sorry, totally interrupt you, but I want to hear this.
Yeah, 19... Well, so there was an amazing oncologist in Philadelphia, Dr. Audrey Evans, and she was trying to cure cancer. And she said, though many times in 1974, you were actually helping kids transition to heaven. But she was really diligent in her research, so she was having great success rates and helping patients get through this. Anyway, what she saw was parents sleeping in the hallways, in cars, eating out of vending machines. She would have families that needed to get to her for treatment and couldn't because of the cost of that access to care. So she really envisioned there to be a house for these families to stay in. So there is a movie about her, and she was persistent as can be. And at that time, women could not get a mortgage without a man. So she had to enlist some help here, but knocked on the door of a house and said, I need this house. We need to use it to house families. But she needed to pay for it. And so along with the Philadelphia Eagles, who had a child, one of the children there had cancer, and then McDonald's came in and said, we want to be a part of this. We will sell the Shamrock Shake. The proceeds will go to opening this house. Will you call it the Ronald McDonald House?
Really? I didn't even know this sister. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is just one house in Philadelphia. And if you think about that time of healthcare, right? I mean, that was a time that was really pivotal, right? Pediatric healthcare was getting better. They were finding solutions and cures, for some of these big problems. And it was really centralized at the largest children's hospitals. So fast forward here in St. Pete, we had the first house in Florida. So they started fundraising in 1978 and opened the doors in 1980. Because the hospital, that became All Children's Hospital, now Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, was bringing in specialty doctors and realized, hey, we need this as well because there are families coming from all over the Southeast to see these doctors, and where are they going to stay? So what the model had come is that you had to have a local McDonald's operator get involved.
Okay.
And so we did. And so now across the world, if you want to open a Ronald McDonald House, a McDonald's owner-operator has to be involved. And why? So McDonald's customers help facilitate the giving to the Ronald McDonald House. So McDonald's corporate gives the giving pathways, like through the donation boxes, through Roundup. And when you as a customer go to a McDonald's, if you buy a burger for, $3.80, we wish, right? You could say, I want a Roundup, and that 20 cents goes to your local Ronald McDonald House. So for us, that's about 11 counties in this area.
Wow.
And all of those 20-cent, roundups add up to about a third of our budget. So I say what's so cool about this is the money is McDonald's facilitated giving, but it's still the greater Tampa Bay area. Right. It is all these people saying, I believe just enough to give the change in my pocket, and that's going to round up to help children that need the Ronald McDonald House. So, and this is happening across the world. So this is not just local here. You can go anywhere in the state. Same thing. We have 8 Ronald McDonald Houses in the state of Florida. There's over 350 in the world. Almost wherever you are in the world, you can find a Ronald McDonald House because kids around the world need pediatric support.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
And so it really is, when you talk about this house belongs to the community, it is entirely funded by the community.
100%.
Yep. It's those individual McDonald's customers, it's corporations, it's companies. It's even, I know you have retired couples who have kind of a standing shift that the husband and wife come and they show up on a particular day and they cook a meal or clean up or whatever needs to happen. It really is a labor of love to make that happen. What does your staff look like here?
Yeah, so we've grown a little bit. So again, we have 5 Ronald McDonald Houses across Tampa Bay, and that's 24 hours, 365 days of the year. So we have just under 70 staff. So that's both full-time, which is about, half of that. And then the rest are part-time, kind of rotating staff to help support those families. But we have hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. And those are the people I think that make the magic happen in the house. They greet our families at the front desk. They help the staff check them in. They help rooms turn over. They help in the kitchen. They help clean. Anything you can think of. I always say, think about your house and just magnify it if you just had a really huge house. But it's the same thing. You walk in, you might have a foyer, so we have a little bit of a lobby. You have, a den that you sit in. We have a den. It might just be a little bit bigger. We have a larger kitchen. We have a dining room. We have laundry rooms. Everything you would find in your house, you find in our Ronald McDonald House as well. And your private room and bath.
So comfy, too. You walk into your houses and it feels homey. It doesn't feel institutional. It doesn't feel cold. It feels like, oh, there's a comfortable place for me to sit. And there's squishy chairs. And there's an outside and a patio. And that's got to be an important part of that as well versus staying in an extended stay hotel, which doesn't feel particularly homey, right?
Yeah, I think a couple things about that. So first of all, environment is so key to our health and well-being. So the hospitals do a great job, but it is a hospital feel, and it must feel like a hospital. And think about this. If you have a child in the hospital, when you go there to see them, you are holding yourself together, right? Because your child, you don't want them to see you cry or break down, right? You're being strong for them. So when someone walks in the Ronald McDonald House, we want it to feel safe and comfortable for them, that mom or dad or aunt or uncle, whoever's supporting. And so they can release their burdens at the door and chat with our staff and chat with all their families, all of that pent-up energy and worry that they've been holding on throughout the day. And sometimes joy. They sometimes come back and say, we had a milestone, we had a success. So we really want our space and our environment to feel like that. I think the other thing is we forget sometimes about how hard it is when you're struggling to hear someone's story that's the opposite at the moment. And one mom tells her story, which will stick with me forever. She said, well, I had the ability to stay at a hotel when my child was going through a very difficult pediatric medical journey. And so I decided to do that. But just like St. Pete, I was in a vacation town. And so I would get on the elevator after seeing my child, and there were these kids coming back from the pool and the amusement parks and families laughing. And she said it was just hard. So she said, I checked out of the hotel and I checked out of the Ronald McDonald House, and I have been telling about it ever since, because there I walked in and people knew what I was going through. They knew that my day had been long, that I was caring for my child. They knew when I was having a bad day and a great day, and when I could show them pictures, we could share those journeys together. So it's hard to kind of explain, but if you can put yourself in their shoes, you'll really feel that it is different.
Oh, and I keep coming back to the word community too, because it's multi-layer, right? When it comes to Ronald McDonald House, not only are you financially and physically supported by the community, because it's a huge undertaking. I mean, your houses here are not small. There are a lot of families just here in St. Petersburg, and I haven't even seen the other 3 houses that you have in the region.
Yeah.
But also not only relying on the community to keep things going, but what a community is created within your houses, and even sub-communities there, as you were talking about, people whose children are going through the same issues and the same journey. And as we talk about in society, right, a loss of connection with people and being far removed, and electronics and AI creating these barriers, I think it's so important to remember how that human element is so critical to our health and well-being and our survival, especially when we're going through hard times, right? It's great to have that when things are great, but it's even more important when things are hard. And what a beautiful story to really talk about how valuable that human contribution is. When it comes to other contribution, though, so here in St. Pete, you have the 2 houses.
Three in St. Pete.
Oh, sorry, 3 in St. Pete. Yes, that's right. If someone here wanted to get involved and this was a mission that resonated with them, what are some volunteer and contribution opportunities for people here?
Yes, we would love for you to come get involved in our houses. So I think the easiest pathway in is through our meal program. Again, we all have to eat 365 days a year, 3 times a day. So we have lots of opportunities to come in and cook at the houses. So you can either bring a group. Again, you sign up online. You bring all the ingredients. So hopefully you have a meal planner in your life. So at our smaller houses, you're cooking for about 25 families. At our large house, you could be cooking for upwards of 80 families in a single night. But get your friends together and come cook. If you need a little bit more tailored experience, you're not quite ready to serve 80 families yet, we do have baking buddies in the afternoon. So those are those special treats that, again, you know how sometimes you just come home and you're like, all I want is a brownie or whatever that is. It's been a long day and you just need a sugar fix. So the baking buddies come in the afternoon. They make a special treat for families. So when they get back from the hospital, they have that. And let me tell you, siblings never want to leave the Ronald McDonald House after they've stayed with us, because we are full of sugar, full of toys, and full of joy. And you can scooter in the hallways of the Ronald McDonald House house, which you might not be able to do at home. Other volunteer opportunities, if you're looking for something more regularly, again, our volunteers make our house go. So we have volunteers who come weekly or every other week. Again, they work the front desk, they help in hospitality, they work in the kitchen, helping other people, other large groups come and cook or help put out meals, give tours, and of course, we have events. So you can always volunteer at one of our 3 signature events. And if you don't have time at all, it's always easy, of course, to make a donation. You know, we have a great Charity Navigator rating, the highest for over 20 years.
Let's
so
go.
Check it out.
All right.
And we are really careful. I always say I'm not going to spend your money any different than I spend my money. And trust me, I am very frugal. You know, it's a great place to give. And we really want to make sure it gets back to the families.
Oh, that's fantastic. And listen, we love cooking the meals. You all have really thought of everything in your houses. Absolutely. You've got to bring the food ingredients, but everything else is there and it's nice and spacious. And it's really, it's a great bonding experience too with a group of friends, or we'll bring people from Thrive as part of our regular monthly community give back initiative to come and cook a meal and serve it. And it's just really uplifting too, to every kid loves macaroni and cheese. I mean, when we have macaroni and cheese nights, the kids are like, what? No way. This is awesome.
Yeah, and really the parents love it too. I mean, let's be honest. Which ones of us do not love macaroni and cheese and chicken fingers? Like maybe we want to say that we don't. We're too healthy for that, but
ultimate comfort food.
But you're so right, Brooke. I mean, I think it's we serve the families, but when we give, we get back as well.
Yeah.
Right. It feels so good to be able to do that and be able to invest in our community.
It is. And what a gift it is. I'm so proud of all of the work you do. I'm really proud of the fact you all chose Thrive to run the back office, all of the pieces of that machine that you make go. It's an impressive effort from your team. And they are the kindest, most generous, hardworking people. They're fantastic. So really quickly before we wrap up, what was it about Thrive? I mean, you're all over the place, right? So you have all these counties, you've got 5 houses in the Tampa Bay region, but you choose to be in St. Petersburg and you chose Thrive. So what was the magic sauce there?
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, who doesn't love downtown St. Pete? I mean, it's just, really, I spent a lot of time here early in my time at Ronald McDonald House. So just being downtown, being so walkable. But Thrive, I think first you guys were already invested. I think when we called and just said, hey, Brooke, one off, we just need a meeting place. We don't have a space. You said, yes, come. Like you opened your doors to us. You said, please come in. And then when we were looking for office space, our offices in Tampa got flooded by the hurricanes. So we just really felt like, gosh, we need to move on from that. Our mission is about the families. We don't need to be taking care of office space. And we started looking around. We wanted a place that felt like it fit our culture, which is just very homey. People are very friendly. I mean, just walking in and being greeted by Mark every day. He is so kind and so fun and just a joy to be around day in and day out. So there's, nothing I can't say about this place. And I think, it's a different world. Like sometimes I'm surprised when I hear people say, gosh, you have to be in the office every day. I mean, you see me walk in with my big old backpack and I'm like, I work wherever I am, right?
Right.
But I think the thing about Thrive is we have space to work and it's just really great. You let us come in and decorate our office. We have our wrap on the corner so you can tell it's Ronald McDonald House space and get inspired. So many wonderful things here. And then, of course, the community, right? You guys are constantly looking at ways for how do we connect with each other. And so for us, it's thinking a little bit bigger, right? Instead of just being in our bubble every day, we get to hear about what's going on from each and every organization in Thrive. And that really helps us, not only make connections, but just think about, oh gosh, I wasn't thinking about that in the world, or, I didn't realize that people did this. How interesting, so it's been very cool.
Oh, that makes me so happy. It's, if you're a mission-driven organization, it's very easy to get all consumed by your mission. And so it's always interesting to me to see other nonprofits and then also for-profits sometimes struggling with the same challenges, having the same opportunities. So opening up those horizons and, like you said, kind of thinking a little bit outside your own mission and connecting with those people and finding that camaraderie camaraderie and in the work we're all doing to make the world a little bit of a better place. It's really comforting. And being in a place where everybody's really happy. We are pretty happy around here.
Well, and it's like, the amenities, so think about this. We take care of amenities for our families in our Ronald McDonald houses, but when we had our own freestanding office, we did not take care of our own amenities. So for us, we feel a little bit spoiled. Like there's coffee, there's fruit water. I've talked about this fruit water so much that my husband's like, why can't I have fruit water? But just the fact that, if you're about to go to a meeting, you can pop in the bathroom and get a little mouthwash. It's the small things, but particularly from that nonprofit life, you guys always take care of those little details that help us be the most successful, ready for that next meeting and ready to go. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, awesome.
And the meeting rooms are beautiful. Love it.
Oh, yeah, aren't they? I love those too.
Yeah.
And you did bring up one point too, and I really appreciate you saying this because it's a lot of what I've been really intentional about when I've been building this place. And when you said, well, you're always so kind and you open our doors for meetings and whatever, I was joking with people yesterday that it's either the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world that I almost always say yes. If someone says, can I ask a favor? Can I do this? Do you have this? My first answer is always going to be yes. And I drive my staff a little bit crazy because I say yes first. I'm like, just come on. We're going to figure out the details later. But I imagine that's really also very powerful. And I think, too, the parallels to Ronald McDonald House. If someone calls you up and says, I need a place to stay, I'm sure you don't send them through some grueling application or, you got to find some basic information about them. But it's about saying yes first, bringing people in, making them feel, okay, this is good. I don't have to worry about all this other stuff. These folks are going to take care of me. And then, that's why you have such a hardworking staff on the back. And then you figure it all out.
Yeah, it's actually one of our documented values. So we have what we call the pathway to purpose. If you're a for-profit person, you might call it rules of engagement. But that is one of our pathways, is to find a way to yes. And yes can't always be exactly what the customer wants.
Right.
But we can find something, right? And so we really talked about that at the Ronald McDonald House. Rules don't make that much sense. Guidelines. But so if a family knocks on the door and maybe they're not our typical family that we serve, but they need coffee or they need a snack or they need a place to sit for a minute and cool off after an appointment, even if they're not staying with us overnight, we want to say yes. We have a lot of programs for that, day use and things. But, if they come at a different hour that we're not open, it's okay, right? And for any reason we can't bring them in the doors, we try to bring whatever. We just say to them, what do you need? Can we bring it to you? And get them, whatever they need for that moment. So I agree with you. It's just part of good hospitality and I think for everyone, right? It's not just our families. It's for like what you're saying, what you do, Brooke. It's for the community. It's for our donors. It's for our volunteers. Like, how can we get to yes with you?
Right? Yeah. How can we get to yes with you? That's just, I want that to be a mantra right now. I'm going to get a little philosophical here for a second.
Do it.
But I see, as you've been here, you've seen St. Pete grow and Tampa Bay grow. Just a lot over the past decade. And I think with growth, it becomes even harder to stay true to those community values. It's just the same thing that as if you're a very small town, you become a very large town. It's you got to work harder at it.
Indeed.
And I know that there are people here in St. Petersburg, people like you, who are so committed to the goodness of this community and feel so positive about the opportunity here and do such an amazing job of making people excited to give of themselves to the community. And I'm being very intentional these days about surrounding myself and harnessing the power of those people because we got a lot going on here. We're kind of cool here in St. Pete now.
Very cool.
and I see the vultures kind of flying around like, how can I make money on this community?
Sure.
And it's not about that, right? Like we can be successful and be true to ourselves.
You got to keep your vibe because that's what draws people in, right? And
yes.
That's the whole trending thing right now is vibe, right? And St. Pete has a vibe and Thrive embodies that vibe. You walk in and it's St. Pete. This is St. Pete.
It is.
Yeah.
And I love being a showcase. I just got to tour a company yesterday that's thinking of leaving where they are in the north in Minnesota, and they're looking all over the country, but they've got their eye on St. Pete. And I said, "Well, you got to come to Thrive. Like we're such the vibe of what's going on here.
Yes.
We're kind of chill. We're a little funky. We love our people. We know everybody by name.
It feels good when you walk in, right? Some places feel, just more sterile, and it just feels fun and happy and joyful. It feels like a good place to be.
It's
like we
their
talk about
home.
environment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just like this very cool podcast studio.
Right. That's great, doesn't it? I love it.
It
I'm
does.
so excited. So what's next for Ronald McDonald House? You've got the 5 houses here. You have this wonderful 11 county area that supports the community in those 11 counties, supports the houses. Do you have plans to grow? Are you going to stay the same? Do you have your eyes on more properties?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think what we're doing now, we opened a new house in Tampa last year. And so what we're doing now is we're really going through assessment, right? So we have some ideas for our future strategic plan, but we're really asking our families. So we've done a learning from families study in conjunction with other chapters around the country to say, okay, what do families really need? What is our gap analysis, and where do we need to go? We do know that in St. Pete particularly, our families, when we built these houses, right, their length of stay was 7 nights. And now for most families, their length of stay is a month or longer.
Wow.
And so that looks different. Instead of being kind of a stop on the map, we are really having families live with us for long term. So we do need to think about the future and what families need to help them feel successful during that time. So in our new house over in Tampa, for example, we built out a wellness space. We built out bigger common areas, areas that families could spread out a little bit more, because they're staying longer. So when we look at St. Pete, which is where a lot of our long-term stays are, we're trying to figure out how to do that. So in the meantime, we've added some wellness spaces and we've made connecting rooms to accomplish some of those goals. But as we look towards the future, we really need a longer-term solution for how those buildings and rooms will look. So that's all I'll say for now. But I'll just say, Brooke, we're listening closely. We are here to do what the families need. We are here to respond to the amazing care that our pediatric hospitals are providing and ensure that the kids and the families that come and stay with us really have everything they need to support the child receiving care.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here. You're amazing. Your staff's amazing. Your organization is amazing.
Oh, thank you, Brooke.
It brings light to my day to just have the people doing such good work here in the space and connecting with other people. Like, we rock. I just kind of want to do a huge high five. High five!
We're happy to be here.
Any other thoughts on Ronald McDonald House or St. Pete or what you have going on personally?
I think that life is good, right? I think we have a lot of problems to solve in our world. I always say I'm at first a humanitarian, and I believe that fits the vibe of St. Pete. And so, but I think overall we have a good life here. We have such good friends and good community, so we can celebrate around that and then keep looking for the future and figure out what to do next.
All right.
Thank
Keep
you,
doing
Brooke.
it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brooke.
Yay!
We did it.